Hey there, good evening, and welcome to the live stream. I'm so glad you joined me. Before you ask, yes, this is a bathrobe. It got really cold here over the last day, and so I've had my robe on this evening to try to stay warm, and I'm up in my attic, so y'all are just gonna get what you get. But I am excited to have you on the live stream. So glad you joined this evening on the 20 or no, we're the 26th episode of the vlog, but I think we're at like 48 or 49 episode of the live stream, the paint party live stream. So we're almost to a year's worth of live streams. We won't quite get there by the end of the year, but we had several weeks in the time of the robbery and such that we were not filming a live stream. So glad to have you back. Lola, it's so good to see you as always. I always see you pop in early in the live stream. So glad to have you. I hope your week and month are going well and that you're getting some time. I know it can be crazy around this time of the year, and we are at Christmas week, so it's hard to believe it's the end of the week. We've made it. We're also at the end of another year, which is crazy, and so much still uncertainty going on in the world, but I'm glad that you make time this evening for this little bit of hopefully a respite to your week. So let's jump in and get started with the painting right away this evening. Let me put up the reference. All this month we've been doing kind of holiday winter themed paintings. If you don't already, please follow on Instagram. That's where I post kind of progress photos of what I'm painting. Some of the things that I'm painting I'm not doing on the live stream, so you also see everything that I'm doing. I just finished recently a set of the lighthouse coasters. A few weeks ago, I guess back in November, we did a couple of those lighthouses here on the live stream, but I did 8 of those, a complete set of coasters that are all lighthouses from around the world. And so I did and posted those on Instagram, so you can follow that on Instagram. And also, if you aren't subscribed here, please do that. It is helpful to the channel, but also you get notified when I go live or when I post other videos. This morning, I also posted a vlog video, went live a short video of a trip my dad and I took last week into the hills right outside of, well, we're in the hills, but into the woods right outside of town to get a Christmas tree. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out that vlog that went live this morning. All right, let's jump in. I'm going to bring you up here to my easel and adjust the angle of the camera a bit so you can see what's going on. I'm going to turn on the light and move my seat right up so I can be right here, and we will get painting. All right, I think this one is going to be a little bit of a challenge just because I'm not sure exactly how to go about this one. So yeah, so we are going to just jump in and see what we can do. All right. The first thing I want to do though is start with, whoops. Oh, I need to put my palette there so you can kind of see what's going on there. There we go. You can kind of see the colors. I'm going to put some burnt sienna, or sorry, burnt umber here on the palette. That will give us a chance. I did not tone this this painting or this canvas, so it is just kind of the pre-gessoed panel. But let's dive in. What I think I'm going to do, this is a small panel, so we'll be able to get quite a bit done. But I think I am going to draw in or kind of paint in the large spaces And like we usually do, we're going to look for areas where we can articulate some shadows and highlights, and then we'll go from there. The big thing I'm not sure is on the kind of, I'm going to call them the spindle baubles, but the baubles that are see-through, that are yeah, I'm just not sure how that's all going to play out. So we'll kind of discover that together, okay? Let's see. All right. Welcome again to those of you who are joining a little late. Glad to have you on the live stream. Thanks for joining. I know that when I reach across this camera, it always, I wonder if I can put my water over here. Then I won't have to reach across the camera. One of my goals this year is to build a board for my paints so they can be kind of up off the desk here, and I can still reach them, but have them better organized. But best laid plans, so you know. All right, I'm just adding a little blue just to give us kind of a, because I don't know what I'm doing or how exactly I'm going to approach this, I just want to kind of do a dark tone and start putting in some spaces where I see kind of dark. I think I'm going to put shadow around these spots just so that it's maybe, I don't know, we'll adjust. That's what I'll say. I'm going to put more shadow in the back than maybe is there. I'm not going to paint everything that's there. That way it just gives us more interest. So like, for example, this corner, I'm going to do more just a dark background so it just kind of fades into the background. It looks like somebody took this reference photo kind of in maybe a living room or something. There's some other, a couch or something back there, but obviously we don't need to see that from the standpoint of the painting. So we'll just put in our first feel of the and here I'm putting shadow behind this. This is my first thought, to put shadow behind this big, and probably even behind the silver ball, just to have some cover. I may decide that's a bad choice, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. There's a little spot in here that's shadow, kind of. I'm just kind of thinking through where all the major forms are. Yeah, okay. So now I think that I've done that. I am going to go in with the large, and I actually remembered first thing pretty much to take a process photo. So I always say, oh, I don't until I'm halfway in. So we got a photo. Now what I think I want to do is go in and kind of take just some brown and start kind of jotting in some of the forms. Like, okay, so we have the big form here just to help me with composition. We have this form there. We'll have this one coming there, kind of a silver. There's one back in there. There's the big one there. As you can tell, it's kind of a hot mess at this point. I'm just kind of trying to figure out the composition, figure out what I'm doing, and I don't really know. So this will be the gold ball there. There's a green ball back in there. And then we'll have kind of, I think I do want to do the kind of red beads that go through there, because I think that's just a pretty, okay. Now, I think what I'm going to do is take the same, I'm using the same technique I've used before. It's not as easy with this to try to introduce some, I don't know if this is going to bite me in the end, but to introduce some shadows, I'm going to have to change colors, and so this may be difficult down the road. But I'm just going for shapes at this point. Shapes of shadows. And I'm just using kind of a generic here. So this is there's kind of some shadows of and I'm just just kind of making this up as I go. All right, let's see. This needs to be a larger, I think. Then there's shadow down here. This is going to be the challenge, is this. There's just so much reflection when you do a subject like this. But we will figure it out. Yeah, if I can pull this off, this will be a Christmas miracle. Let's just say that. Christmas miracle. But if you don't jump in with both feet, you never learn, right? Well, maybe that's not true, but that's how I'm figuring this out. Okay, now what I want to do is take a little bit of white into this and desaturate some of this color. It's kind of a gray. It's almost the same gray as the plate, which you can see there. And I want to start to give some I'm starting pretty dark with some. This will end up probably being the highlight, but I want to start darker so that I gradually come up, if that makes sense, in value. So I want to start with this relatively dark gray and put in highlight areas. Now, again, this is highlight on just value. I'm not doing any color, obviously. This is a big highlight. Now that's too dark compared to what's there, so we'll definitely work on that. Okay. Then here I want to just give the suggestion of highlights on these beads. Just so as we go through, we start to see some the composition where it is. So it's a mess right now. Obviously, it looks like a big mess, but to me, it makes sense. Now, coming in, that's not dark enough, so I need a little bit darker. I think I'm going to have to raise the kind of feel of this. I think it's too... Okay, the first thing I'm going to do to approach these kind of wire baubles, or these, can't remember what I used, is I'm kind of squinting my eyes and just kind of looking where the major, looking at it as one blob. So where the light kind of picks up the areas, it's kind of like this. There's kind of a darker area in here, darker area in there, darker area across there. And we'll do multiple layers of this, of course, so that's kind of, or we'll do multiple passes, so that gives us a little, there's darker there, dark across there. So we start to just draw in some shapes. This we need to do darkness. Now it's all kind of a soupy mess because our values are off. They're not quite right. But little by little, we're going to adjust them. Now the insight will be whether, oh, that's too dark. Does this, can we come back? Okay, let's kind of give this a minute to dry. Let's carve some of this negative space into here. Now that we've got some values laid in, again, it's basically all grays and browns, but now we can start to give the illusion that there's some This seems to help me by forcing myself to really look at kind of one almost a monochrome thing and paint my first pass through as almost monochrome. It seems to help me really see things than when I put color in. But we'll see if it works for this. I'm not sure yet. But little by little, we're starting to see the shapes of these things. What do you think? I bet you all didn't think this was going to be how this would start out, huh? Okay, we'll give this just a minute to kind of set up a little bit. Give me a chance to take some pictures. And then we'll come back and add a little bit of looks cool. I am hoping that it will look cool in the next, even more cool in the next half hour. So that's going to be, if we're going to test this, huh? Okay, let's see. Any more blue? I'm at the end of my blue. So, okay, let's see. Let's go in and just, again, add another layer here of kind of the shadow background. That gives us not only another layer, but it gives us a feeling of depth, and it solidifies the, or starts to solidify more the composition. So once we get some, I am still not sure on that chase. It depends on business, and I have a contract that I'm in till April, so it depends on how business kicks off at the beginning of the year. And also, I'm still waiting on the claim for my damage to the U-Haul, and if I have to dish out almost $5,000 for that in the next couple of weeks, then it's going to be less likely, even if time permits. And then always up here, I have to contend with potential weather in March, although it should be maybe heading towards spring by then, but we can always, I mean, we can get freak snowstorms any time of year, but the closer we are to winter, obviously, the more likely that just random snow will interfere. So, yeah, all that to say, I'm not sure, but I'm grateful you popped in to the live stream this evening. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we got some background. Now, let's see if we can start bringing in some color. Da, da, da. So we have our reds, our green, and gold. We'll put some green and gold. We're going to start with some yellow ochre. Then we might bring in some cad yellow as bright, but first we're going to just kind of put in some of this. Let's start with the yellow, because why not? Cad yellow, and I'm actually going to diffuse it a little with the brown, maybe even the blue, kind of tone it down quite a bit so that we can actually bring it up. So now there's a little bit of a, I'm going to bring in a little red because there's some reflected red there. I'm painting wet on wet, which I shouldn't be doing, but then there's a little green in the reflection, but that gives us a start. There, now you can see the whole thing. All right, and I'll just switch. I'm just doing quick blocks with the green, again, diffusing it a little bit with the brown and the blue so that it's kind of a deep green. I think this needs to be, it's kind of a larger thing. Whoops. Oh, I'm taking the paint off. Not being patient enough, y'all. It's too wet, apparently. Put the green over here. That's the reflection in the silver. Then we want to go quite a bit darker in the back with the green. This is going to be it's in the shadow, plus it's also a further away. So we don't want the green as vibrant, almost blending into the background there. Should have done the yellow. Well, let me jump. It's still on my palette, so we'll come and do that. A little bit of that yellow back in here. That's a too vibrant a yellow, I think, for that. But we'll see how it measures up. Okay. And then, let's see, what else? The red we shall see. Let's mix some of that. Let's do some blue. It's bright, but not too bright. Okay. 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 Now, what I'd like to do is just give a hint of this, where the outline's going to go. Then we'll take a little bit of paint and do some where we want the beads to kind of fall. There. We'll carve that out. Okay, now what I realized is the yellow we did earlier is not, this needs to be larger. it comes up to almost touch that one and sits in this, kind of bunching them together where the dimensions are not quite right, because this red actually goes, it's actually bigger, I think. And I do want it to be kind of the center point. Go big or go home, right? If I can get this illusion to work, I want it to work all the way. But if not, it's going to be a spectacular failure. So that's kind of what I want. All right. This is a big, huge brush, but I'm kind of starting to put in those cross, let me see if I can turn off the light for a minute, the cross patterns on this, just to kind of get a feel for what that would look like. All right. Well, we have our first layer of color in. Give it a minute to breathe. Let's turn off the light so you can kind of see. That's what it looks like to me a little better. Still a mess, but you can tell there's some color on it. All right, now let's go back and see what we can do. I think I'm going to give the baubles a break. We'll come in again. Little by little, we get more and more precise with these shapes, and I'll get to a smaller brush. The challenge on this particular one is to put enough dark spaces that as we come across with the colors, then it has something to show up against. But yeah, it's just a challenge. So let's see. Looks like a red scary jack-o'-lantern. Yeah. He's grinning at us, isn't he? In a nefarious way. I never noticed that, but it's the same pattern in the reference photo if you look at it. That I wasn't trying to create a scary jack-o'-lantern, but he definitely appeared, didn't he? Oh my goodness, that's funny. I was just thinking about what we were painting last year at this time. And some of you will remember, I think it's still sitting here in my studio. So at the end of the live stream, I may see if I can grab it if it's still there. I don't see it right off, but I know it's somewhere around here. We had a painting we had to do that was, we ended up changing the whole background on it kind of mid painting. And I think it was Lola who gave us the idea with how it ended up. But ended up much better than I thought. Looks really bright, but All right. Definitely not. Well, it's coming together, but not as quickly necessarily as I would like. Excuse me. Now I think I need to get a little more precise. Okay, now I'm going to start my first attempt to providing some definition to this. So what I'm going to do is the light is shining right off the edge of this and it's catching the glitter. So I'm coming in with a fairly bright orange or orangish red and putting in some fairly detailed lines there. So let's see if that renders the way we want it to. At least if it gives us a structure of, this is a, and I'm kind of doing dashed lines because as the light grabs the glitter, it grabs kind of individual flecks, and so it won't always catch the entire strand. At least that's my thinking of how to do this. So we'll see. It's really a comedy of errors, y'all. It's a comedy of errors. Okay. There is kind of this one line strand that goes across the center of the ball. So let's try to see if I have no, there's a area on this side where the light catches this underside. So let's put that in. Again, I'm not doing, try not to do a lot of detail, just the suggestion of some shapes. So I'm going to come up here and kind of, there's a lighter spot it catches there. Some of this, I mean, I'm just making up as I go. Let's be real, all of this I'm making up as I go. Ha! So we'll see how it actually ends up turning out. Now what I'm going to do is come in a little bit darker red. And add some hopefully contrast to this. Now more orangey red to try to okay. Let me step back just for a minute because working on this detail stuff too much makes me overdo it. All right, it's a thing. It's not exactly where I want it yet, but it could get there. But I'm going to pause on that and come back and do, first off, I'm going to take a picture. That way when I get it done, I have some Now, I think I want to go back to some of these other baubles and keep working. So let's look at this. I love the pic you painted for your mom, the nativity. Oh, thanks. That took a little iteration because there was no reference photo for that. It was just out of my head. So I painted it a couple times, but it turned out just beautifully. And most importantly, Mom was happy. You know what they say? Mom's not happy, nobody's happy. I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but it's the saying. Mom's pretty easy, at least my mom's pretty easy to please. So it was nice to... She has this wall in her house that she changes out the painting that's on it every season. And I did the fall one, and she has a winter painting, but winter lasts a long time up here. So I was like, you need specifically a Christmas themed one for, at least that's what I was thinking in my head, for actual Christmas. So that's what that was about. Okay, this is getting a little messy, but I think we can fix it. I don't think this was the right brush for this. This comes across really orange, but I think we can tone it down just a little. I don't know, but have this flat brush over here. I wonder if that would do any better. Oh, that's really purple. But I don't hate it. Merry Christmas to you as well. Hope you guys have a great one. All right, that's coming out better. Let's see. Just a minute, y'all. All right, we are back. Apologize for that troll. Apparently, I'm getting popular enough I may need a moderator. Who would have thunk? All right. Put some reflection here in this gold ball here and see if we can work on that a little bit. Let's see. Let's mix some more of this yellow. It's a little bit desaturated. Some of that. Then I gotta, let's see, we'll bring in kind of a shadow. There's a, now let's bring back the gold. Just keep blending till we get what we want. All right, let's go up here. I don't know if this is going to work, but hmm. Well, we're giving a little reflection there. And then, let's see. You take some more green. Okay, now I'm starting to get the texture I want down here in these areas, so that's good. We'll take a few more swipes at these, of course, but and I'll keep working on this. But we're starting to get to a place where you can tell what they are. You're getting a pretty good reflection. Now I want to go back to this silver one down here. I haven't worked much on the silver one, but I want to put in some of this. Okay. Taking some liberties with the reference photo, and I'm reflecting a lot more of the red because the reference photo actually shows the person taking the picture and kind of the room behind them, and it's kind of scratched up, and I don't really want that. I want it just nice and shiny, so that's what we're doing. Nice and shiny. We're seeing the reflection of that. Now, I'm not sure how to do this, but I want to get more clear about this reflection actually needs to be very clear that it's round. Okay. I think I brought it too far. Rats. Brought it too far in. That's great. We're starting to get there, aren't we, Lola? I think. I mean, it takes a bit, especially with acrylics, to layer in, and especially because I started not really knowing what I was doing or how I wanted to. Spent a lot of time messing around, which is fine. It takes a bit, but now, okay. I brought this too far in, so I want to fix it, but oh. I'm gonna have to redo a lot of this, which is okay. I just don't. That ball was too intrusive, the reflection. So we'll just paint it out of there, and then we'll take a little bit of this and a little bit of that. We'll make it a really dark brown. Seems like I always start getting traction about when it's time to quit, isn't it? So that's okay. What we will do is we'll come in here and we'll put some shadow in here so that we have kind of a oh, that's the problem. There's white in that. I was like, why is it coming out so light? There's some white in the blue that I'm mixing, and so it was. We'll just give some shadow here. There we go. Give us a little more shadow to work with. Then we can come in and keep working. I'm going to take just a minute more just because I'm not quite happy with what's going on here. Not sure if I can actually do what I want to do, but we're going to try. We're kind of going wet on wet again, so just trying to okay. Get a darker gray just to kind of give it some definition of where we're going. Up here, I just want to suggest the design of these kind of like, I don't know what, if they're leaves or what, or kind of a, this is too white, but maybe we can work it into something. That doesn't look quite right, but it's getting there. We can work with it. I'm just trying something. That's what I was doing to that ball over here on the right hand side, just kind of adding some, it kind of gets lost in the light of my that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to quit overthinking it, but I'm going to turn off the light and step back so you can kind of see where we are. That's where we are in it. It's taken a while to get there. I'm a little happy with how that looks, at least with the light off. But I think we're starting to get there. I think it's just going to take a little more detailed work, a little more effort to really refine some of the reflections, but it's at least clear what it is at this point. So that is great. From my perspective, we got to a good place. Let me bring up so I can see you. There we go. And I'll get rid of that. So this is where we are with this one. And I'm not totally unhappy with it. I learned a lot every time I put the brush, I kept thinking pen, brush to canvas. I learned something. Everything I try to do, I try to pick something that's going to challenge me a little bit, or a lot bit to face new obstacles. It's frustrating in a sense, because I want to be able to paint better than I am. But at the same time, I look back at where I've come in the last, where we've come in the last year, and it's kind of amazing because I look at other paintings I did, in the last 6 to 12 months, and I think, man, now I would approach that totally different, or I would do this a completely different way. And so I recognize I have to just keep pushing myself to improve and to test new limits and to try new things and to gain new skills. And so that's kind of where I am focused, and I have begun kind of laying out my I don't really set goals. I mean, I have some goals for the new year. I don't really do resolutions or anything, but I have a document in which I keep things I want to accomplish. And when it comes to painting, I really want to dramatically expand my skill, which I've been saying for a while, but I really want to be intentional and strategic about this. So now I want to dig in deeper than maybe YouTube tutorials, or very specifically into YouTube tutorials for very specific things. I want to continue to push my the development of my eye and my ability to compose a painting and really build those skills, and try different subjects. As you know, the thing I haven't done yet is a portrait, and that's something that I think I really need to do in the next couple months, to just push myself just to do some really bad ones, so that I get to understand where my baseline is, so I know kind of where I need to go, because until I attempt it, I don't really know how bad it's going to be. It's probably worse in my head than it actually would be, and so I just need to attempt it. So all of that said, I want to say a deep thank you to all of you who have joined me not only this evening, but over the last several months, that have followed the journey. I appreciate you following. I appreciate your encouragement. I'm excited to see where this goes, and hopefully we'll gain even more traction, more momentum as we go. And I'm excited for you to go along with the journey. I want to say a specific happy or very Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate coming up this week. And I will hopefully see you on Monday. It'll be after the holiday. And I know this Monday and next Monday are probably really busy for people. We didn't have as many people in the live stream today, but it's just that time of year. But I will see you before the new year. But next Monday will be the last live stream of the year. So I look forward to having you for the final live stream of 2021. Until then, have a great night, and I will see you next time.